Were you double booked in the breakout room? That's the rumour here. Did you do a swap, did you?
No, I didn't do a swap.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's 25 years since the hand grenade incident.
Really?
Yeah, so they're doing a big, our man Reedy, Brent Reedy's doing a big expose, and
Oh.
I've never told the true story. I've been sort of holding back and not blaming anyone.
Right.
And I just said, you know what, 25-year statute of limitations is gone.
Have you played the blame game?
I played the blame game. But the blame game was Ryan Girdler.
Yep.
He was the catalyst because he was the instigator.
Yeah.
He was my enabler.
Yeah, okay.
I don't meet much.
But was this sort of, like, you'll have to read the article, I assume, through Daily Telegraph and Reedy and the team.
Yeah. 25 years ago.
25 years ago.
Yeah.
But was he sort of, did you forecast a big win?
No.
No.
No. Did not.
So this
did not forecast
it couldn't have been spur of the moment.
This is the thing. Because we'd already won the series, we were Albert for a week.
Yeah.
And leading into that camp, we didn't really do much into the third game. So we were on the piss. And we watched that movie, Any Given Sunday.
Yep.
Advanced screening. No one in Australia had seen it.
Oh, really?
So we got the intel.
Oh,
and
with
that's
our fingernails.
when Willie Beeman scored.
Inch by inch, play by play.
When Willie threw the touchdown,
Steeman.
they did the hand grenade.
Oh.
Boom, hand grenade. So I said, let's do it. And we practiced it once up the bourbon and beefsteak.
What is that? The bourbon and beefsteak?
The old one. They had the drag queens were up there doing the trivia night.
Yeah.
And so none of the boys would get involved. So I asked the girls, I said, girls, would you help me out here? So I got one of those big long cushions that used to be up there, huge long. They're like a big worm.
Yeah.
And I said, righto, girls. So I was choreographing them all. So righto, girls, in between your break of calling the trivia, let's practice. So they got around it. They were quite happy. And then slowly everyone else came in. Gerds was the catalyst.
Okay, so very silly question because I should know the answer. Did you score the try?
Yeah.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
You also scored the try that led to... So this all started from the Trivia Newton-John night.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was... And we'd won by 50. And the footy show were doing the... try celebrations.
Yep.
Remember, it was huge.
Yeah.
Canberra did the
Yep.
10-pin bowling, the Kodak.
Yeah.
Well, that was really a selfie.
Russell Bowden was doing the Homer Simpson. Princey did the rodeo.
Yeah, cracking the coconut.
The carver.
The carver. Was that carver?
Yeah.
For Philly?
So we didn't do it. And this was the story. Reedy's going, I was quite disrespectful. Well, Dave Riccio was quite disrespectful to Queensland. But we never thought of doing it. It wasn't out of disrespect.
No, it was on brand. It was on topic.
Well, we just scored. We just put 50 on them. No one had put 50 on them before.
No.
We lost the next 8, but that's us.
So hang on. So you're starting to clock the points up. You now know you've won the game.
Didn't talk about it.
Oh, you didn't?
Didn't talk about it. Didn't even
So
enter
you didn't
my
say,
head.
forget one more, boys, let's do it?
Nope. I scored, was just coming back, and Gerds go, do the hand grenade.
Oh, Gerd said it.
Yeah, Gerds whispered in my ear.
Right. So you just pulled it all together like that?
He had he had tape on his mouth, breathing through his nose. and that's how it all happened.
Wow.
But the thing what was quite remarkable, looking back on it, how everyone knew their role.
Yep.
And I'm sure the only people who knew the role was my girls.
Really?
I don't remember anyone doing. I remember Mad Dog jumping in. I remember him coming in, but I heard he was in it. Freddie was in it. Jamie Ainscoe.
Really? Yeah. So never was rehearsed at training.
Never.
The bourbon and beefsteak, that was it.
With the drag queens.
And Maxie Whitby, hello to you. So let's get to that. We're talking about the Reece Walsh thing that's gone viral on TikTok. For me, him posting it is the stupid thing.
Correct.
So you can cop it for that. But, and I don't want to be too dismissive of it because, these days it's an important thing. But there are some...
Hang on. Dismissive of what?
Of something going broadcasted of assault, basically. These days, Brian.
Oh.
These days.
It's young blokes.
I know.
Have you ever done that? I'm going to put my hand up.
Yeah.
Have you done that?
Probably something similar.
Yeah.
I don't know. Probably.
We used to do that. If you lost Yuka, we used to have to stand there and get punched in the head with a boxing
Yeah.
glove.
Do you feel like it's kind of the eye of the beholder? Like, we don't know what Reece Walsh's mate has done to him over the years, and that might be their kind of thing, like.
But was it that bad? He didn't.
No, it's not that bad. But
are you saying because of the CTE?
But it is to people. No, well, it is to people, right? So it may not be bad between Reece Walsh and his mate, right? And I grew up in a boy family and rumble tumble and all that sort of stuff. So I'm trying not to be dismissive around.
Okay.
But if you hit the wrong person doing the same thing, which could happen as a result of this being amplified, and I get that, then it is a problem. It's all in the eye of the beholder.
Okay.
Do you agree or not?
Yeah, I think it's just been storming a teacup.
I totally agree. His biggest mistake, in my opinion, was the broadcasting of it. He's got such a big following.
Yeah.
Why do that? That's stupidity.
Well, that's what that generation do. That's exactly what
Yeah. So, anyway, there'll be a lot of. I can feel the text coming through saying it's assault. I get all that. Okay. Anyway, to change tack.
But his mate came out. His mate came out and said it wasn't like it was all part of it.
Right.
I think it was just for likes.
Maybe. Reece Walsh on Instagram said, just to add context to the video recently posted, it was a joke with me best mate. No one was harmed. Boys being boys, along with a face palm emoji. Look, I get that. But the world's a precious place these days.
Boys, this Reece Walsh thing, seriously, why is it even a talking point? Like in this day and age, do I agree with what these young people do on bloody YouTube and all that? There's a group of Australian blokes who have become rich and famous at beating the living hell out of each other with sticks, throwing their phones, pushing them in the garbage bins and all that, and people love these people.
Yeah. It's
stupid, but they love them. And then we have a go at Reece Walsh for having a dare with a mate and coming through and giving him smacking, and everybody was laughing. No one was, what is it?
Okay, Reptile, listen. I've been in that situation similar to that, and it doesn't bother me one iota, right? It does not bother me one iota. If I was the recipient of that, it wouldn't bother me one iota. But unfortunately, or fortunately, the world's a big place, right? And we've got to be a bit more open-minded, I think, too. Like, yes, Reece Walsh posts that, and it's no problem for him and his mate. But then all of a sudden it's okay for Joe Blogs or Mary Blogs or whoever it is to do the same thing. So, look, for me, do that. But there was 3 phones out. The poor bugger Reece Walsh can't even be in his own mate's place without people filming the bloody thing and then posting the bloody thing. So, firstly, I'd be asking Reece, how rock solid are your mates? And then secondly, for him to post it, it's just stupid. Like, it is, there's no upside in him to do that, Reptile. I don't think it's the biggest crime of the world, but I do understand the world's different to when we grew up.
Yeah, but they say he's rock solid mates. I think Reece told him the video because there's another video out with the same mate where he punches him in the gut.
Oh, right.
There's another video, and Reece moves the video. He filmed it himself, moves the phone, goes, come stand here, better shot. Yeah, it's just the day and age it is. Like I said, there's a group of guys on YouTube, Aussie blokes, who do this stuff, whack each other in the head with books and whatnot, and they've got like 2 million, like 5 million. They've become huge. They live in this gigantic mansion, travel the world, doing all this stuff, and everybody loves them, but poor Reece Walsh, you do it with your mate.
You know what I'll say to this, right? And again, it doesn't make it right or wrong, but what's the crew over there in America?
Jackass.
Jackass, right? Do you know how many people, unfortunately, would have passed away or had very significant injuries trying to replicate what they do? But they're not representing a club, right? They're just representing themselves, and that's what they do, and they're a law unto their own. So, I don't know, mate.
Well, on the other side of the coin, the media, fans go, I just hate when players get up there and they don't show their true self.
Yeah,
they're
that's
quite
right.
vanilla.
Yeah, I know.
Now, I know Reece is doing this YouTube channel. He's got a new YouTube channel and he's got a big following.
Would you reckon Madge'd love that right now?
Would hate that.
Yeah.
And the Broncos would hate that. Of course it is. It's not the worst thing in the world.
That's
but
not.
It just looks bad.
Yep.
He's injured. He's not playing.
Yep.
The Broncos are struggling.
Yep.
He's out there looking like he's enjoying himself. I mean, he's allowed to do that.
Yeah.
I think we should move on from that.
Yeah,
Brooks.
Reptile, you have the final say on it because we're done with talking about it. But, yes, go on.
Yeah, I think everybody should be done talking about it. It's stupid, but this is the way the world is now. People do stupid things all the time. Like, there's people becoming rich and famous of doing stupid things.
Yep, that's true.
Like just having a good time with a mate. Maybe question his mate how dumb he is, but I don't get it.
Yeah, but if you're the media manager of Reece Walsh at the Broncos, Reptile, you'd be saying, mate, come on, like, what happened? No big deal. But you have to post that crap, and now you put yourself in this situation. Do you agree with that?
Yep, 100%. Don't do it. And that's it. No sanction, mate. But don't you do it again? We will sanction because it's stupid.
Now, they have been busy. I keep saying this, Brian. Chamis and Wadler, Sydney Morning Herald, West Tigers to grant Galvin permission to negotiate with rival clubs. West Tigers.
Sorry, who?
Who, tourists?
West Tigers!
Correct. Are poised to grant Lachlan Galvin permission to negotiate with rival clubs after a board meeting on Monday. The Tigers will grant Galvin permission to open negotiation with prospective teams before the November 1 free agency date, but with conditions. The other conditions set to be put on any formal permission to negotiate with rival teams will be an agreed transfer fee, which is still being determined. West Tigers board met on Monday and are keen to put the Galvin saga to bed, but Chief Executive Shane Richardson wants a positive outcome for the club. So just on this, Brian, a transfer fee, which kind of isn't par for the course in rugby league.
No, it's not.
The transfer fee plays no part at all in the salary cap, does it?
I don't know. That was my next question. If, for example, the Parramatta Eels paid this transfer fee, surely that comes off their salary.
I think it should.
Yeah, but for the Tigers, boom, straight in the coffers.
Well, I think so. Yeah, but what does that do for the coach? Really, nothing. What does that do for the general manager of football? Nothing. I think again we need to find a solution where if Lachie Galvin's on 300-ish,
yes,
400-ish, if he goes early, well, I was talking to Rad about this actually. This would stop a lot of claims of going home for compassionate grounds or having to leave for whatever reason. Would you agree, Brian, and would you support that if you sign a contract with whomever, right, for 300, 350, 400 as an example, if you want to leave the club, go for your life, but you cannot get any better than what you're currently on at your contract. So, for example, if in this example, Lachie Galvin's on 375 next year,
yep,
whoever signs him, to not encourage people breaking their contracts early, shouldn't he be limited to earning, and I'm not picking on Lachie Galvin, I'm just using this example, shouldn't he be limited to earning next year the 375? Because otherwise, how easy it is for a manager to go, mate, you're getting 350 next year, which they've probably done the deal, but I can get 800 on the open market. Wouldn't that slow that down?
Well, it's been going on. That's what goes on pretty much.
Yeah, so wouldn't that slow that down?
It would. But then you get into dangerous territory if they do the compassionate grounds and something legit is up.
Yeah, but then you're already on a contract, so
yeah, I know,
we'll give you compassionate grounds.
But the transfer fee, you mean?
No, I'm talking about, say the Warriors tend to be the place where most compassionate grounds happen. Okay, well, next year you're on 500,000. You can't have them going home for compassionate grounds and picking up 700, can you?
Gotcha. I know what you're saying.
What do you think?
Yeah, you probably can't, but maybe the NRL has to say, righto, if you are going to leave the club,
yep,
it's got to be what we've already registered your contract with.
So I kind of feel like in the example of Lachie Galvin,
he should next year, whoever he goes. But then it's a restraint of trade. It's all that.
No, but this is no restraint of trade. But if you've signed a contract and you're contracted next year for, say, 400,000,
yep,
I kind of feel like saying, okay, well, you can go to Canterbury or the Roosters or whoever the club is for 400,000, and if the Tigers want to get 200,000 for you to, because his market value is probably 700,000,
yeah, so they'll
Tigers should be the ones who win that.
Yeah.
They did the deal.
Yep.
They backed the kid in early. In many cases, they'll pay for a lot where the kid doesn't cough up to what they deserve to do. They should get the 300. The Bulldogs or the Roosters, whoever get him, should be paying the market price, which would be 700. And Lockie's stuck with the 400.
Yeah, but the difference would go to the West Tigers. Yeah. Yeah, no, that's it. I like that. I don't think it would be, because then you're getting lawyers involved.
Yeah.
That's when it gets a little bit ugly, because they say, well, no, he can earn this. Your sort of the restraint of trade sort of angle.
Well, we're talking today or yesterday around the banks who, they've dropped 0.25. But if you lock into a fixed contract for the bank, they have break clauses, right?
Yeah.
So you've taken the safety of a fixed rate. Well, you kind of...
Yeah, but I think there's not many players who would do that. Like over the years with the compassionate grounds, it's not a whole lot, is it?
No, there's not a whole lot, no.
And the legitimate ones that we don't know about, like I'm thinking about the Dylan Walker one.
Yep.
We had Andrew McFadden on. He was talking about it, saying the compassionate grounds. He didn't go into it, but you could see he was genuine.
Yeah, of course.
About it.
Okay, well,
this is not compassionate.
No. But using the Lachie Galvin example, if there was less incentive for him to leave, in other words, no matter what he did, whether he stayed there or left, he was limited to the contract which he signed, that $375 for next year or whatever that number is, right?
They want to. We got to go to a break. They wanted to renegotiate and give him more.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. But what I'm saying is, if you have committed yourself to that, anyway, I think you know what I'm saying, folks.
I do know what you're saying.
Really quickly before we break, where do you see him going, Brian?
I still see him going to the Eels
this year. Does he go anywhere this year?
I don't think so. I think it'll be 2026. I think it'll be too late by June 30.
Could we see a detour where he goes maybe the Roosters 6 months? Anyway, we'll find out. I don't like those detours either, by the way. Is Paul Gallen here? Will he stand him up? Hello to Paul Gallen.
I'm here, boys.
He's here. Brian, he's here.
He's
here, ready to go.
So, Gal.
What happened, Gal?
Yeah, was that like all part of the marketing strategy, or you legit just said, no, I'm not just turning up?
No, look, it's part of the marketing strategy, but it was all me. Look, Stan aren't happy with me at all, but at the end of the day, it's about publicity, it's about creating a bit of drama and a bit of hype and hysteria, and that's exactly what it did. So me turning up and saying Sonny's scared and calling him a coward for only wanting to fight 2-minute rounds and all the same old hoo-ha that I would have done. What I did yesterday caused a whole lot more drama and I suppose a little bit more excitement around what's going to happen in a couple of months' time.
What is it, Gal? What's going to be the format? 2-minute rounds?
Yeah, mate, he won't budge. So, look, this has been a negotiation for a long time. Obviously, we know how long I've been trying to make this fight happen. But about last November, December, me and Ben Kimber started talking and it was, basically all agreed upon. 8 rounds it was. So they come to me and said, how many rounds? I said, look, it should be a 10-round fight. And they said, they want to do 8. And I said, okay, I'll accept that. No worries. And then they said 8 2-minute rounds. And that's what we've been negotiating for the past 3 or 4 months. It's been, 2-minute rounds is embarrassing. But that's what it's going to be. Basically, a month or so ago, they said, let's take it or leave it. And I said, okay, I'm going to take it. I want to get my chance to punch this bloke in the face. It would have been something that I just always wondered about. What if? So, at the end of the day, mate, I'm 44 years old, 1 month after the fight, and I'm going to get paid a heap of money, so why not?
Hey, Gal, a lot of people say, what's the difference? 2 minutes to 3 minutes is 1 minute. And you took on Noodles, Barry Hall, 2-minute Noodles. But why are they so adamant? Clearly, endurance is your big thing, right? So, but how hard is it when you're in that ring from 0 minute to 1, 1 to 2, 2 to 3? How hard is that 2 to 3 minute?
It's insane how the difference. It's like playing a game of rugby league and saying we only want to play for 50 minutes. We're a big, powerful team. Look, it's like having a team full of 120 kilo fast outside backs and saying we only want to play for 50 minutes because that's all we can handle. Yeah. So they're probably up by 20 points at the 50-minute mark, but by the back end of the game, you come out and get them every single time without fail. But they only want to play for 50 minutes. It's absolutely ridiculous and embarrassing. And I think it's embarrassing Stan, Ben Kimber, and sort of guys that even allowed this or contemplate this to happen. But it's going to happen because, as I said, mate, Sonny gets what Sonny wants, and that's where it's going to be. But at the end of the day, it's a 50-50 split. I'm going to get paid, which is the only reason I started boxing in the first place was to be a prize fighter. I've maintained that right throughout all the fights I've had, and this has to be the most lucrative one I've had.
How's the body, Gal? Because as you mentioned, you're getting a little bit on. The last fight was 2022. That's 3 years ago. 2022,
yeah, November 22, yeah.
What's changed? What's changed since then? Yeah.
Oh, look, it gets hard as you get old, no doubt about that. I think we all know that. But look, my mind's still strong. My mind's probably better than what it ever has been as far as wanting to do things. Just the body definitely does slow you down and takes a lot longer to recover than what it used to. But you just got to be a little bit smarter with training. In years gone by, I've done a lot of sparring. I'm not even sparring at the moment, so we're taking it pretty easy there. Just doing a lot of pad work, bag work. So I definitely got to be a little bit more careful, particularly, there's so much talk about head knocks and concussion these days. So, I want to be a little bit more careful there. I've been tested, I've had scans and tested by doctors, and I'm all okay. There's no issue there. And but I'm just gonna monitor myself a little bit more than I did in the past. Can't just be gun ho and go as hard as I can. I've got to be a little bit smarter about it. And the biggest thing for me, or the hardest thing for me for this fight will be getting in the ring. Once I get in the ring, if I get there that night, everything will be okay.
Hey, Gal, what's the tape work wise? Do you go back and look at the Sonny Bill fights and try and find an angle in which you can sort of exploit, or how do you do that?
Yeah, look, a little bit. I've watched his fights before. He's just a long, big guy, pretty much. But he hasn't been tested. He's been tested twice in his career. Once was against Bopa back in, I can't remember when it was. and the fight somehow got stopped 2 rounds short because he was knocked out in the corner and he somehow still got the win. And then the other time was against Mark Hunt. Other than that, he's never been tested. The blokes he's fought haven't got winning records. To be fair, he hasn't fought anyone. So, so I'm not overly concerned about him in the ring. I've got to get there that night, be fit and healthy, and I'll get the job done. But as I said, he hasn't been tested. He's got a terrible chin. We all know that. I've only got to catch him once. Everyone knows I've got a good chin. I am durable, so he's going to have to hit me plenty of times before he's going to be able to stop me. But yeah, I've only got to catch him once, and I'll be right.
Hey, Gal, you said that it was all part of you, to sell tickets and stuff. What about his comment yesterday? Did you see that coming? Like, were you aware that he was going to come out and talk about like the drugs and shit?
The drugs, yeah. And mate, the bloke's like a 2-year-old book, seriously. He's like a picture book. He's got no words in it. He's a picture book. He's a dumbass. So about a month ago, I said to Ben Kimber, Ben, I want drug testing put in his contract because I know if that's what he's going to carry on about. The bloke's too dumb to think of anything else. He'll just go straight to what happened 14 years ago at Cronulla and talk about that. So I want drug testing in there. He didn't put it in there for whatever reason. I don't know why. Sonny said he asked for drug testing. One thing I've learned about Sonny the past few days, he's a liar. He's an absolute liar. But I asked for drug testing. I've got evidence of that. I've got text messages, emails to Ben. To Ben Kimber about drug testing. As far as Sonny saying the drug tester, that's why I didn't turn up, is an absolute lie. You guys know, you played footy. If you're getting drug tested, you get drug tested that day. ASADA do not turn up the drug test, and if you're not there, they don't test you. They will follow to your house, your place of work, wherever you are. They will find you wherever you are, and they will drug test you that day. Sonny saying drug test there was just an absolute lie. So, look, and at the end of the day, guys, it's still, no one's angry about what happened at Cronulla that I am. Here I am, 14 years later, still talking about it. I'd love to sit here and tell you exactly who's responsible and exactly what happened, but I've signed legal paperwork not to talk about it. It's more frustrating for me than anyone. I mean, it was an entire team. And here I am having a cop it all. So that frustrates me, but I understand that. I understand that's the person I am, the profile I have at the club. I understand that. I cop it and I just move on with it. But it's when it affects people around you, that's when it probably gets a bit harder.
Yeah, what about getting back into you're all keen to fight. What about the missus and the family? Were they just going, oh, look, mate, you don't need to do it, or were they're all supporting you?
No, they're not supportive. No. They're not supportive at all. The missus hates it. But as I said, this is more of a thing that it's just a matter of it's a what if. I've never been that person. What if I had done this? What if I had done that? I've always had a crack at absolutely everything in life, and I just think that's the way you should live your life. Win, lose or draw, what's it matter? You get out there and you have a go. That's when you got kids when you're young, you try to teach them to walk and they fall over and you just get back up and have a go. Come on, do your best. And that's just always been my attitude. Just go out there and have a crack, and you win some, you lose some. That's life. So if I was to sort of walk away from this when the opportunity was there, and then I'm trying to encourage my kids, don't give up, have a go. Well, I just wouldn't feel right. So it's just something that I want to do, and I'm going to do it. It's not the ideal time to do it at my age. We all know Sonny did everything he could to put it off until this time, which he's won in that regard. That's something that people close to me are angry at me about. You've fallen into his trap. He's done exactly what you said he would do. But that's life, mate. I'm in there to have a crack, and I still think I can win. I'm not what I was 3, 4, 5 years ago, but I still think I can beat him.
By the way, congratulations on the Hall of Fame, Paul. Well done. Congratulations. Now,
thanks, mate.
I want to ask you about this. So you talk about being a prize fighter. Will this be the biggest purse
I knew you'd go
in your career? You have to tell me that.
It could be.
Yeah, it could be.
It could be. It all comes down to pay-per-view numbers. Boxing is all about how many people buy the fight to watch you win or lose. That's the way it works. So if it sells well, yes, it will be the most lucrative fight I've had. If it doesn't, well, I'll get whatever I get. But I've had a few big fights over the years, which I've done very well out of, and I'm quite happy and comfortable. But hopefully, if this one sells the way we think it should sell between Australia and New Zealand, then it'll be a nice night.
But you don't have to rely on pay-per-view. I'd imagine you've got a base, like a retainer, to say, right,
mate. It all comes down to numbers.
Oh, does it?
And
okay.
the people who turn up, the people who watch it, the sponsorship, all that sort of goes into a pool, and we get a percentage.
Right.
Of that.
Well, let's sell this bastard, Paul.
Yeah.
Let's sell it.
Get it out there.
Speaking of selling, what am I reading? There was something that popped up, Gal, around $10 a barbecue or something. What was that chat about?
Yeah, look, I don't know. I've never had a barbecue with my footy team turn up, but I'll say this: if I've got a group of footy players turn up and they've got to pay $10 a pop for food and alcohol, you know how much food and alcohol rugby league players drink? That's bloody cheap.
Yeah,
I'll be going to my house every single week. So, yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know where that one come from. I've never had a barbecue with a football team around. I've been retired 6 or 7 years now, so I'm not sure what he's talking about there. But I've had the boys around for a drink at times, and but not a feed.
Fletch, I hosted one barbecue back in the early 2000s with the West Tigers team, and my late uncle, who I love so dearly, Uncle Glenn, passed away. We lost him probably 6 or 7 years ago. He's an old butcher, Richie Tubb. Yep. So he said, I'll take care of the barbecue. And he was the most confident man, but he had the most chronic stutter, right? And I looked over, and Darren Senna was the captain of the team, and he was over there with Uncle Glenn for ages. I said, geez, you two got on well, Holly. He said, I only asked him where the sauce was. But mate, rest in peace, Uncle Glenn. What a great fella he is. But I agree with Gal. You cannot host a rugby league team for $10 a head, Brian.
No way. Now, speaking about rugby league, Origin, you happy with the side, Gal?
Yeah, I think it's a good side. Look, obviously, we have to pick our sides when we're in the media, and we everyone's got an opinion, and I did have Luai there, but I think Moses is a good pick. I listened to Moses on our 100% footy show a couple of weeks ago, and he said he played a fair bit of left side when he was younger, and he's going to really enjoy having a controlling halfback to play with rather than him steering the team around the park, and allow him to concentrate on his running game a bit more, which we all know I think it's his strength. Yeah. Besides his kicking game, his running game is his absolute strength. So I think that's a good selection. Obviously the fullback was probably his jersey to lose, and I think Teddy's playing absolutely outstanding at the moment. But I think it's probably fair. Edwards has got the role there, and Max King on the bench. I think what a story. He's 3 or 4 years ago he had an ankle issue or an Achilles issue, could hardly play, got thrown a loft on by the Dogs, and now he's playing Origin, debuting at 28 years of age. So what a story. So he totally deserves it, and I think everyone else in the side picks themselves, to be honest. I think it's a really good team. I think Queensland side's a good team. I think it's a really good team, but I do believe that we can get the job done out there under Loz. I hope the boys turn up for him and want to play for him and get the win in Queensland.
Yeah, just on that, Gal, what is Loz like as a coach?
I loved him, mate, and I think it's like that level, Fletch. You're playing with the best players. Like tactically, you got other guys around to help come out, that sort of stuff. It's about bringing a team together and motivating them. And I think a big one at that level is having a coach that you want to play for. I think that's a big one. And in many opinion, my opinion, probably one of them as well, along with Brad Fittler, Loz is probably the best player to ever play Origin for New South Wales. So to have him in camp and listen to him, and listen to his voice, and listen to how emotional he gets when he talks about it, when he talks about the team and what it means to him, that means a hell of a lot. It meant a hell of a lot to me as a player, and really made me want to play for him. And I'm sure these current Blues team will feel that as well, and they want to get out there next Wednesday night and play for him. And with the skill they've got, the talent they've got on the side, that emotional connection to Loz to it, and I think that'll be hard to stop.
Hey, Gal, we've got a term here that we call brucing, which is basically leveraging off someone else's talents or story or something like that. I've actually coached with Gal, right?
Are you brucing?
I'm brucing. I'm brucing. And mate, he's a very good coach. And I ask you this, Gal, because I do believe you're a very good coach. Where I've got all these ideas, Brian. I'm saying, Gal, let's do that.
You've got ideas, really. It's weird.
He's saying, calm down, mate. Calm down.
It's unusual.
But Gal, and you've had great success as a coach. Your winning rate would be through the absolute roof. But any ambitions long term to be, an NRL coach or an Origin coach? Or no, I'm asking you seriously.
Charlie, seriously, I'd rather hit my, no
really?
way. Mate, I've got no ambition to be a coach whatsoever. I really enjoy working with the kids. I do the development squad stuff at Cronulla, the under-16s there. I coach our boys, and I really enjoy helping young kids out and trying to be the best they can be and encourage them. But, I don't have any ambition to be a coach at all, to be honest, at any sort of level. I've been offered junior rep coaching jobs at Cronulla, but No, I've got no ambition, mate, at all.
Fletch, if you're ever just walking down a park and you see the most perfect tackle technique, it's most likely his young bloke, right? Beautiful kid, Cody. Beautiful kid. But I tell you what he's done, Gal, right? And I think most people who have played any kind of rugby league or rugby union would think this would be the same. I grew up where 95% was attack. You know, we might have occasionally they get the tackle bags out. I've never once tackled a person who just stood there like a tackle bag and said, come and hit me, right? Mate, he's had these kids, and they're not a big side, tackling 80% of their training sessions since they were bat big. So they come out for their little games, and the other team look around, they go, oh, look at these little blokes. But every single kid in that team can tackle because he's had them all tackling.
Defence wins matches.
That's right.
There we go.
But you have, Gal, and this is something that, like for me, I had a better step in defence. I'd get out of the way. I couldn't get out of the way when I had the ball. But it's very important, and that's what you've done with these young blokes. But well done to you, and that's why I thought that we would see you one day as a coach.
Hey, Gal, quick one.
No, I've got no ambition. I just think for young kids, it's important to get their technique right. You see so many guys knocking themselves out these days, and as I said before, we so much talk about concussion, head knocks. It's good. I think the best age to teach kids how to tackle is when they're young. And I know the game's gone away from tackle footy at 6, 7, 8 years of age, but I do believe that's the best time to teach them because they can't hurt each other. You send 2 6-year-olds head first into each other, they'll fall down crying. You send 2 14-year-olds head first into each other and knock each other out. So I don't understand why they've taken that out of the game, but I do believe that's the best time to teach them how to tackle.
Gal, before you go, what's your song you're coming out to? Or is that a bit like a wedding thing? You know, when people get married?
Nah, it's not secret.
No.
So my first ever fight was Chatty Townsend picked a song for me. I don't even know what it's called. It's it's out of Godzilla, the soundtrack out of Godzilla.
Oh, yeah. Come with me. Yeah.
Oh. Come with me, that's the one, yeah. So and that was my first ever fight, and I've stuck with it ever since. So yeah, Chatty Townsend took me up that one. So yeah, I'll stick solid, mate. I'm a pretty loyal bloke, so I'll stick solid to it.
Have you thought about maybe this song, Tourist? Could you play this?
West Tigers!
No, just for the full one about West Tigers.
He doesn't have it on him.
Far out, Tourist. One job.
Hey, that song will sell the fight, Brian. That song alone.
What is it? Come at me.
Come with me. You know the song. It's actually played in front of a lot of grand finals.
Hang on. It's not the...
Yeah, grand finals, Origins. They played it.
Is it?
No.
Yeah, that's...
Whoa. I think this has got something to do with something going on overseas. Who's the artist? You know who it is, Gal. It's P. Diddy.
No,
you can't come out with that.
No, it's not.
It's
Jimmy Page.
Yeah, but featuring.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Just play the Jimmy Page part.
Oh, mate, if you come out all with baby oil all over you, I'll know something's up.
Yeah, we'll let you go.
Mate, I've got enough issues in life. I don't have to worry about that too.
Paul, well done, mate. We appreciate you. And once again, congratulations on the Hall of Fame for New South Wales. A long time coming, an absolute doyen of the game. Well done, Paul Gallen. We'll catch up with him very, very soon. Tell you what, Luke, when you hear that back, Luke Metcalf, welcome to the Run Home with Joel and Fletch. When you hear all of that back, you must be very, very proud of what you guys have achieved this year so far, Luke Metcalf.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, fellas. It's been pretty cool. Obviously been on a nice little run at the moment, winning a fair few games, and obviously, really big test this week against the Raiders who have been flying.
Now, Lukey Metcalf, let's not talk about the Warriors. I want to know the history. I want to know the stories behind Luke. So let's do this, please, tourists. Getting to know Lukey. All right.
Getting to know all about you.
You grew up in Coffs Harbour.
Yep, that's right.
You left Coffs, joined the Sharks in 2015. Take it from there. Why did you go to the Sharks in 2015? Who was it that said, right, come down to the Shire?
All right, so it was, I was at Coffs. I was playing for the mighty Aurora Valley Tomahawks, I was. And then there was a teacher at my school called Peter Denham, so I owe him a lot of credit. He knew someone who was at the Sharks and at Endeavour Sports High School. His name was Dave Howlett, and he was a coach at like all the development stuff at Cronulla, and then that's how it all started. They got talking, and then from there they sort of just picked me up, and then when I was 15, moved down to Sydney.
Okay.
So you're scouted by Double, Brian.
Who?
Double.
Who's Double?
Double Denham up there in.
Yeah. And who'd you say, Luke, was the development? Howlett.
Dave Howlett. His name is
okay, not
Dave Howlett. Yeah.
Whippet. I was thinking of the Whippet.
No.
But then in 2018, you go north side. Tell us about what happened there. So you went to the Sea Eagles. Did you for 3 years?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So I played Harold Matts and SG Ball, so CS 16s and 18s at Cronulla, and then got a good opportunity to go over to Manly. It was pretty cool to sort of go there. That was my first NRL experience, sort of training with the NRL team. So it was pretty cool to go over there, and like I spoke about it before, like just to go over there and learn off someone like Cherry Evans was really cool, sort of to see what it takes to be sort of a halfback in the NRL, and if you want to take a game to that next level, sort of the work ethic it actually takes. So yeah, that was pretty cool. Didn't pan out the way I would have liked to. I didn't really play too many games over there the last couple of seasons, COVID, and I remember I had an ACL tear and stuff like that, but I sort of wouldn't change it. It was something that was good for me, I think. Then going back to Cronulla, obviously, ended up debuting back there.
So, but you debuted at the Sharks, you're predominantly a 5'8", but before that, you were a 7? Like, were you a legitimate 7, or you were always a 6?
Yeah, no, so growing up, I was always a halfback. So
Okay.
even like all my juniors, like coming through the ranks in Coffs, and when I first moved and played Harold Matts and SG Ball, I was always a halfback. And then it probably wasn't until I probably moved to Manly, I'd say that's when I sort of started playing a bit more 6 and fullback. I'd say once I went, so I was about 19, went there and started learning that, which was cool. I felt like it sort of helped my running game and stuff eventually now that I've moved back into halfback. I feel like all that sort of experience playing 6, playing 1, it helps you sort of, you know what they're looking for from you as a halfback. So I feel like all these things that have sort of happened in my career, little position changes and that have all led me to this point.
Chatting with Luke Metcalf of the Warriors. Maybe we're chatting with the soon-to-be or end of the year 2025 Dally medalist. Just on that, it must be hard not to check the ladder and to see if other players, like you played with Will Kennedy, did they poll? Is that a little bit consuming, Luke?
It's not too bad. Like it's pretty cool, like seeing your name on there and stuff like that. Like I obviously won't downplay it, like obviously see it, but yeah, I'm not going into games thinking like trying to poll points and nothing like that. I'm just focusing on how can I play good so then the Warriors can win. So yeah, that's pretty much what my focus is. But yeah, obviously to see that is like pretty cool. Obviously that you're seeing some of the players who have won that award over the years. It's a pretty prestigious award, so to even be amongst the top of those guys is pretty cool.
Brian, I reckon he's one of the great anticipators. So, like, you think about anticipators and you think about Ryan Pappenhausen.
Can I put Terry Lamb in
Terry
there?
Lamb can be there as well. And what I mean by that is if something's about to happen, these guys seem to leave before everyone else. They start to make a few steps. I think Metcalf's in that conversation as well. Luke, were you always a try scorer? Because I often think that, you know, people are surprised by how many tries you're scoring in first grade. But I look at your reserve grade career, you scored 24 tries from 29 games. And I kind of feel like once a try scorer, always a try scorer. Were you always scoring meat pies as a kid and so forth?
Yeah, I feel like it's something that I've always sort of tried to do and had in my career, even when I was young, just supporting and just being, you always hear the story of Terry Lamb. Like, obviously, I was pretty young, didn't really get to see him play, but you always see, like, my dad used to always talk about it. He would always just support and score a lot of tries. That's how half of his tries are scored, just supporting up through the middle. And, yeah, so that's something that I've always, I feel like as a youngster, I just try to let my instincts sort of take over. Like, any time you see your dummy half or your fullback or your 5'8" sort of start running, that's sort of a cue for you to start running through the line as well. And just sort of, like I said, just anticipating that a line break might happen. So I feel like that's something that, just comes natural to me.
Hey, Brian, speaking about support play and speaking about his father, I think he's referencing the great Glenn Metcalf, right, who was coaching junior rugby league on his own accord, no kid in the team, just down there helping out, and he was supporting me one night at the bar, and geez, I wish he didn't. I wish I didn't. Mate, what a great man. I met your dad. What a wonderful man Glenn Metcalf is.
Yeah, he's a legend. He's really good. He raised, like, we had, there's 4 boys, so I'm the youngest of 4 boys I am. So he raised us all really well, just to be respectful, use your manners and your pleases and your thank yous and all that sort of stuff. And he was really cool to like as a person to sort of look up to now that I'm older and I've got a little baby myself, a little 7-week-old, just to
well done.
sort of put it all. Thanks. Just to sort of put it all into perspective, sort of what being a father is and that. So I feel like lately I've been reflecting on some of those times when I was younger, and I feel like I'm just getting more grateful for the way he raised us.
Logie, what is it like living over there in New Zealand? Like, if you're walking down the street, are you getting recognised?
Yeah, a little bit. Like, it's not nothing too crazy, but I feel like since the whole up the wires thing in 2023, it just went to another level. Like speaking to boys like Sean, Bunty, like those sort of guys who have been here for a while, they said that was ridiculous, like compared to what it used to be. So yeah, I feel like it is a little bit, that season in 2023 where that whole sort of movement started. I feel like ever since then it's gone pretty crazy, and especially this year we've had a little bit of success early. So it's starting to we've sold out every game so far again this year. So I feel the game's growing, especially in Auckland, and I feel like it's just going to keep growing.
Now I want to ask you about a couple of players. In particular, Leka Halasima. So when we called your game up there at Magic Ground, I got a good understanding of this kid and how powerful he is. Do you feel that he's at the moment, you just give him the ball early and he sort of is just using his brute power and strength? Like when I was watching him, I feel that he hasn't really been taught yet. Do you get that feeling? Like what he's doing is just his natural ability?
Yeah, exactly, and that's the scary thing almost. It's he's only 19, so it's you sort of think like this guy's who's come into first grade and he hasn't taken time to settle in. He's literally, like you said, just using his raw, natural talent to sort of show us what he can do, and it's the exciting thing to sort of think. Imagine when this guy's 22 and he's played 50 NRL games, how good he's going to be. So, and he's working real hard, Lex. Like, and he's a real. Like, I know he would not want to admit it, but he actually is a little student of the game. He asks questions and he wants to learn and he wants to understand sort of the attacking system and how we defend and all that sort of stuff. And he's been awesome to play with. Like, he's been playing the last few weeks. He's played 80 minutes and he's been damaging from the start till the end. So yeah, it's been awesome to see. I still just can't believe that he's only 19. Like, seeing what he's already doing.
Wow.
And the other bloke, Erin Clark, he's just playing out of his skin. What's happened to him over there? Like, did you realise he was this good?
Yeah, I think he's been the buy of the season, I would say. He's been killing it, Clark. Yeah, he's been massive for us, especially the loss of Tohu Harris and Dylan Walker. Like, he's just stepped into that role, that number 13 role, and just made it his own, just like with his ball playing, but with his carrying as well. He's carrying like he's a 120-kilo front rower and just breaking tackles. And, the way he's playing's been awesome. But, he's been, since he's come, I sort of seen in the preseason, like he played for the Kiwis and he went pretty good. But I remember he come in the preseason about January and I was even pretty shocked. Obviously, I'd watch him play, but I was pretty shocked at how actually, like, silky he was with the ball and his running, like how damaging he actually was. So I remember seeing that preseason go, I think we've made a pretty good decision here behind that. And then Tohu Harris retires in January and, it all fell pretty good for him.
Fletch, you mentioned Leka Halasima. Well, he and Jacob Laban, they have signed to the end of 2029, so they've locked up some good ones there. We had Andrew McFadden on, good fella. Luke Metcalf, we had him on the other week as well. But what about this? So you guys, and I'd love to know what was said or spoken about. And we were over there for SEN and we called the game, the Warriors versus the Raiders. And it's fair to say, you guys were ordinary. You were very, very ordinary in Vegas. And since you've come back, you're sitting clear second. Look, what was the fallout for the Vegas trip?
Yeah, I think we were just obviously, Vegas didn't turn out too good for us. It would have been nice if we went over there and could have got a win. But I think it was just, we weren't ourselves. Like, everything we'd practiced during the preseason, the 2 preseason games that we played, we just didn't show any of that. And we didn't really turn up with the right mindset to want to tackle and to want to play that hard style of footy that we want to be known for. And we just sort of, I don't know, it was real weird. And we come off the field there and I remember we had a really good meeting the next morning, just saying like that's not going to determine our season. And then and we haven't. We sort of turned it around the next week against Manly and sort of went back to what our identity is and what we want it to be. So I feel like that's a massive thing, and not losing sight of that, regardless if you win or lose, it doesn't matter. Like, this is how we play and this is what we want to look like. So just sticking to that regardless of the outcome.
Now, Lukey, we like to do this little quiz just to see because this was a favourite movie. How old are you? I'm going to say 24, 25.
Well, what do you reckon? What do you reckon? 24? I'm 26, 99, baby.
Oh, 26.
Best year of your life. Best year of your life, Luke, when you're 26. It is, Brian.
I thought you got baby face.
Yeah.
Now, this is a movie.
Yeah, see, I'll take that. It's a compliment.
And you got beautiful hair. Not quite Chad Townsend hair
thank
yet,
you.
but it's looking, it's like a Baldwin hair, like Stephen Baldwin. I don't know if you know the actor Stephen Baldwin. Do you put much product in that, Luke?
No, actually, that surprisingly, I don't. I get asked actually at training. The boys think I'm lying, but all it is, I wake up in the morning, have a shower, and then give it a little bit of a dry down with the towel, then just put a comb through it.
Right.
Well,
Okay.
coma.
Yeah, because it feels like there's no Brill cream. There's none of that gear going in there.
No, I haven't put anything like that in my hair since I was in high school. I don't reckon, but yeah, so literally just a bit of wet it a bit, and then just put the comb through it, and then just let it settle, let it dry.
Oh, it's quality hair. It's nice and thick. All right, this is a movie, right? That Sugar and I. Now, after all the players we've interviewed, there's only 2. I reckon we've interviewed, I'm going to say, in the 50s.
He'll get this.
Okay.
This is a movie that we grew up with, and I'm hoping you two can guess this. Take it away, Tourist.
Oh, look, I'm sorry to bother you again, but you got change of $1?
No.
All I got are these damn Nepalese coins.
You've been to Nepal?
Yeah, no, Brian, he'll get this. He would have come home from training with Glenn, family, and Microbit would have done the sport there on the NBN News up there in Coffs Harbour, and they would have played this movie.
Okay, have you? Do you know what this movie is?
I'm a bit disappointed in myself because I like to pride myself as someone that likes a lot of these old movies and stuff like that, and I cannot tell you what movie it is.
Okay,
Can you give me a hint? Is there sort of what era and what sort of genre?
We'll give you another piece of this, but a little bit more audio. Right. Same movie.
You're looking very beautiful.
Thank you. What is that? On your ear.
Ear?
No, your left ear. Is that a hair gel?
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
I could use
No, you don't have to. You don't.
Does that give you a bit more of a hint, Luke? It's Cameron Diaz. She's in it. She thinks it's hair gel. She puts it in her hair.
Something like...
I cannot tell you what it is. When's that for Cameron Diaz? What's that, late 90s, early 2000s?
Yeah, I think it was made pretty much 2000. Was it 2000?
At least he knows who Cameron Diaz is, Brian.
You know Cameron Diaz. Ben Stiller.
Yeah, I know Cameron Diaz. Yeah.
Something about... There's something about...
That's the name of the movie, Luke. Something about...
There's something about...
Is it a man's name? There's something about
it's a female's name.
It's a woman's name. There's something about... I'm not too sure.
Oh.
Okay, multiple choice, Brian.
Okay, it's Jesus' mother.
It's Mary.
There you go.
You need to watch that now.
There we go.
Have you not...
All right.
What do you like to do, Luke? I know you got the little baby. Is it Maya or Maya?
Maya, yeah.
Okay. I know you're a new dad, so that's going to take... But before Maya came along... Are you a golfer? What did you like to do in your downtime?
I'm a bit of a homebody. I am. The boys always spray me for it. Yeah, I'm a bit of a homebody. I like watching, getting on my Netflix or on YouTube, watching a series, watching a movie. I like a bit of reality TV.
Yes,
I do. Yeah, so watch maybe a bit of Love Island or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm a bit of a homebody. I like a little World War II doco, a little bit boring, but something like that.
All right. Geez, you've gone from Love Island to a World War II. You are an enigma.
Yeah, we like him.
You're quite the mystery. Now, I spoke to you after Magic Round, and I said, "What's on tonight?" And you said, "No, nothing. A few protein shakes." Are you a non-drinker?
Yeah, I'm not the biggest drinker. Maybe after a buy or something, I have a couple. But yeah, I'm not really a massive drinker. Yeah, you give me 5 beers and I'll be pretty hammered probably.
Yeah, you and Joel should get together. Maybe I should take you two out. You're both cheap drunks. Yeah. All right, so the Warriors win the grand final in 2025. What's your source of alcohol when you win? What do you have?
Well, they like the Lion Red over here, the Lion Red or the Spates.
Okay.
It's the old New Zealand beer, yeah. So I'd say I think we're sponsored by Lion Red, so I probably should say that.
What about a little bit more funky? What about like a cocktail? Do you like cocktails?
Yeah. Maybe a little. I know it's not a cocktail, but yeah, what are they? A little like porn star martini or something like that.
Oh, hang on.
Hang on. The old World War II.
Yeah, just sitting back. But alcohol. Now, there's only one alcohol that's not a depressant, and that is tequila. That's the only upper.
I still don't understand that.
It's got something in it. It's a stimulant.
Yeah, but I still don't understand. Like, if you iron yourself out on the tequila,
It's
you still got the flat fills next day.
No, you're not. Not if it's the Mickey.
Really?
It's got to be the Mickey.
Okay.
Anyway,
All
that's a little tip.
I don't believe that. He's a mad fad man. Luke Metcalf. Look, big game coming up against the Raiders.
Yes.
How do you beat the Raiders? Because they've knocked off a lot of big sides, Lukey. You haven't been home at Go Media Stadium for over a month now. You must be pleased to get home in this big, massive game against the Lime Green.
Yeah, they're going to be tough, eh? The Raiders. Obviously, we've seen how they've been going the last couple of months. Yeah, they've been flying. So yeah, they've obviously got a real good forward pack and some fast outside backs. They do. So yeah, you got Fogarty there. He steers the team around. He's been playing some awesome footy. So yeah, we're going to need to come with our A game. But yeah, I'm just really excited. It's obviously two teams who are going pretty good at the moment and having a little clash there Sunday afternoon at Go Media. We don't really get too many of those. So. Looking forward to sort of getting out there on a Sunday and having a crack against a good team.
All the best to you and Coach Webster. Luke Metcalf, you lead the Dally M's, mate. Stay that way, mate. All the best for the rest of the year for you and the Warriors, and we can't wait to follow on that journey, Brian.
Yes, and good luck with little Maya too. You're going to have to get around the wiggle soon.
Yeah. I think I'm slowly learning all this stuff now, all the Miss Rachel and all that sort of stuff. All the boys are giving me little hints and everything like that. So I think I'm slowly getting towards that stage.
Good on you, Lukey. We'll catch you soon. All the best, mate.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Now, many of you people may know this next guest is an Australian legend, a New South Wales warrior, a Roosters legend and captain, Brian, and a premiership winner. But I now know him as a superstar coach, Brian, because do yourself a favour, folks. Go back and watch the SG Ball Grand Final. Parramatta taking on the Roosters, one of the most epic encounters, and this man here was at the helm. Boyd Cordner, welcome back to the Run Home with Joel and Fletch.
Hey boys, how are we?
Mate, you've done it all on the field, but this was off the field. You'd scored 2 tries in the first sort of 50-odd minutes, and then right at the death, 4 tries piling in as the coach. What was that like? What a remarkable win in extra time.
Yeah, it was. It was great effort from the boys. Obviously, we were in it all the way until, eight points behind with 1:30 left, and ended up pulling off a cracker win, mate. It was you obviously see the good games. I thought back to the 2015 grand final and how good that was, and you never really think you'd be involved in a game like that, but for it to be a grand final and sort of my first year of coaching, it was good to be on the right end of that, mate. I would hate to be the opposite team, that feeling, but it was a great win and just super stoked for the boys for all the effort they put in throughout the year. For them to win like that, it will be something I'll never forget.
Boydo, how does it compare, being a player winning competition to being a coach? I remember Freddie, when he won the series, when he was coaching New South Wales, he said it was the greatest feeling of his life.
Really?
Yeah. I'd imagine it's quite different feelings, but how was it for you? Yeah,
mate. You feel like I've been assistant coach there with the Roosters, the first grade team for a bit, and you do get a bit out of it, knowing that the knowledge that you're given on. If you see the boys, try and execute what you're trying to coach them, you get a bit out of that. But until you get your name put to a team and it's all on you, I'll tell you what, since I retired, it's probably the most fun and enjoyment I've had from footy since I retired. But going back to your question, for me, I still think playing in one and winning one, for me is the greatest feeling. And I know, SG Ball, obviously, it's such a big part of our game's development now. But I can see what Freddie was thinking with the Origin because of the enormity of it.
Yeah.
I get that feeling, and the NRL, I guess it would be another feeling up. But don't get me wrong, it was so good, mate. And I was just blessed to have a good group of boys that could perform for me, and had a great time.
So, Boydo, after that, I mean, what a dream start to your coaching career. Do you want to do that now? Do you want to be an NRL coach?
Yeah, look, it definitely brought back those feelings for me, but then again, I get scared as well because I wasn't the best to be around when I was playing. I rode the roller coaster so hard, mate, so my relationship suffered. So Mate, I've been so relaxed since I've been retired, and I could just feel myself getting back into that zone, and I did enjoy it, and I think SG ball and because it's only a short competition, I think I could get away with that. I'll just have to wait and see. I honestly did enjoy it a lot, but I'm still sort of undecided if it's the path that I want to go down to do it full time.
Bordos, let's change tack. Let's talk about the mighty New South Wales Blues. How's camp been? And has the bonding night, it's only one night now, isn't it? Has that taken place yet? Has that taken place yet?
It has. How many nights did it used to be when you were in place?
Mate, I said this today. I actually did an interview. We didn't touch a ball, didn't step onto the field, and didn't go into a gym for at least 3 days.
The bonding week.
It was 3 days.
I'll tell you what, you would have been connected though.
Oh, yes. Very connected, boy. That's very, how's it been, mate?
Yeah, it's been really good. Bonding sessions are still alive and well. I know you'll be glad to hear that, good. But it is only one night. But it's for me, I reckon it's such a crucial part and probably the most important day of the 10-day build-up, just because of obviously, these boys have played together before, but they come from different systems and, a couple of new boys in the team, and nothing brings you together more than having a beer and, it just opens up that connection a little bit quicker. But these days it's a bit different too. So you got a lot of the kids coming through now that don't like to drink. So, but as long as everyone's together there, we had a great night there. Laurie took us to his local pub where his son was working it, and it was a great night. And
he's a tight ass, Loz, isn't he? He's getting free.
Yeah, I know.
Free drinks for everyone.
Yeah.
Hey, Boyd,
he probably got it on his loyalty card, so he gets his cash back.
That's right. Just keep tapping that. Hey, Boyd, on the coaching side of it, right? And I often think about this, and we posed this question yesterday with, Craig Bellamy helping out Laurie, and Frank Panisi's there as well, and in the case for yourself, Lindsay Collins in the opposition, Bobby Toyer, are youngsters in the opposition. I mean, how hard is it, you guys watch your own players so much, so therefore probably know their deficiencies more than anyone. How hard is it, there's a bigger picture, which is the Roosters long term, but then
definitely,
what do you come forward with when it comes to sharing insight on your own players?
Yeah, you definitely have to that's what it's all about, really. But at the end of the day, you're pulling on that blue jersey, and you're in this team, so you need to take the Roosters cap off, and it's all about the result at the end of the day. And like you said, Kingy's in now, and myself, I know how them boys play, and you have to sort of give information about where to get them and whatnot. But then again, you don't give too much away. It's only when it's needed, and it is. It's hard. It's a bit difficult, but at the end of the day, like I said, we're in here for New South Wales, so we'll do whatever it takes to give the boys an edge next Wednesday night.
Boy, sorry, just going back to the bonding night. Who was who was the? Because there's always one.
Who's your guess, Brian?
I'm going to say, Josh Addo-Carr for me, he's obviously not there, but he's the type of player that I would imagine would be centre of attention. Yep. I'm going to say that
Hudson Young.
Yeah, or Connor. Yeah, is it Connor? Would Connor be a leader?
Connor's there. Yeah, he is. He's very social, Connor. But the ones, especially last year, Mitch Barnett.
Oh,
he's unbelievable on the piss. Yeah, mate, he's a cracker. He's honestly, you need him in your team. He's one of those guys who, breaks the ice pretty quick, and he leads the way pretty well. He's a cracker on the bonding night, and then Mitch Moses might surprise you boys, but loves a beer and loves a good time. So. Them two boys brought the team together pretty quickly.
What about the coaching staff? Who led the way there?
Lozgo's pretty good.
Yeah, Loz is pretty thirsty. We got a couple. Yeah. No, it was a good night. Everyone had a blast, mate. So it was good.
Boydo, just on the halves, Nathan and Mitch Moses. Is it going just to be left up to Nathan? What do you see this panning out? Because they're both dominant players for their club side. Is one going to take? Or was one going to play second fiddle, do you feel?
Yeah, I think that's going to have to be the case. Nathan is a halfback, and he's proven himself throughout his career. So he gets that role, but I think, what that does to Mitch Moses, it just frees him up even more. So obviously we know he's got a great kicking game, and the thing for me, which is underrated, is his running game. And I think the strength of his good 5'8" is you've got to be able to tackle and you've got to be able to run. So he can do both of those. So I think, for them boys, and just seeing them already, we had a field session today, connecting up and talking about the game and how they want to play. After today, I've got no problem. That'll all work.
Any exclusives, Boyd Cordner on the goal kicker? Now, you've got so many good kickers there. Nathan Cleary, Mitch Moses, Critter. You've got Latrell Mitchell, Zach Lomax. What is it just going to be? Winner plays on. If you kick it, you get to stay on.
Well, yeah, it might have to be a kick-off there, boys. But it's pretty wet up here at the moment, so the boys got off the field pretty quick. It's hard conditions to kick, so I didn't really see anyone practicing their goal kicking today. It was just getting going, but I don't know. What's your guys' guess? Who do you want kicking?
Yeah, who do you want, Brian?
I want what Zach Lomax did last year. Was it game 3 when he kicked one from the sideline? Was it game 2?
Yeah, he didn't miss one, I don't think.
No.
Oh, there's your answer.
But
game
you're
3,
you're the goal kicker, Sean.
Oh, look. To be honest with you, if it was to win the match, as good as forget about all these percentages, I want Cleary.
You want Nathan?
I want Nathan kicking for
the
me.
Iceman.
The Iceman. In saying that, I think I've said this for a couple of years. I reckon the best kicker in the comp is Stephen Crichton. But what else, Boyd?
Really?
What else? Yeah, mate, I think he is. He's a beautiful striker of the ball. I think Halligan's a big rap as well on that. Queensland, what do you make of their side? Or do you care?
Yeah, no, I do care. Obviously, you got to pay close attention to who you're coming up against. But really strong team. And then Liero coming onto the bench there, debutant. I really think it's going to be good. I think the question will be whether he starts with Potter in the back row. I know he's done a job there and he's played him there in past series, but Liero's there on the bench. Does he start him, Cotter off the bench? There's a couple of questions there, and then obviously debutant in Robbie Toyer, and I think he's only 9 or 10 games into his NRL career, and it's going to be a big test for him of how he handles the pressure. But I know, obviously, with them, the Queensland legends that are in camp with them, they'll get him ready to go, and then Lindsay hasn't had too much game time under his belt, but again, his experience in that arena and where he's at in his career at the moment, I think he'll handle that easy. So, made a real strong team, and it's going to be a cracker test for the boys next Wednesday.
I was talking to Craig Wing, Brian, this week.
Still looking beautiful.
Beautiful, but he was talking about, like, with the case of Lindsay Collins, who hasn't played a lot of football, he would say that Nate Miles wouldn't have played a lot of football, maybe injured, and Origin would almost play him into form.
Just get.
So you've got to have your guard up.
Yeah. Hey,
exactly.
Boydo, what about Craig Bellamy? Has he been around camp, and do you know what his role on game day is going to be? Is he going to be there?
Yeah, he's been in camp with us, and he's just a sounding board for the coach and staff. He'll obviously oversee things and talk to Laurie privately, but then in meetings and that as well, if something needs to be said, he'll give his advice, and that's what he's there for. But just talking to a couple of the boys, it's so good to have him here because he's got that aura, and they're excited to have him in because even just him being there, I think the training standard and everything just goes up even more. So, to have someone around that with the experience, the knowledge, and the success that he's had, it rubs off on the group. So he's been unreal. And on game day, I think he'll just be in the box there, obviously helping with interchange. Laurie's obviously hasn't been in and around the coaching circle for a bit, so I think he'll take care of all that detail and help Laurie in that sense.
Now, I tell you what, your two former mates, Toddy Carney and Mitchie Pearce, they're going good on their podcast.
Former mates, have they had a falling out, Brian?
They have been,
former teammates.
Gotcha.
Former teammates.
Former teammates,
Current mates.
Yes.
I tell you what, they're both glistening.
Yeah, they
when,
are.
When they come across camera, it's is Mitch off the drink still?
He is, mate.
Yeah.
He is. So that's probably why he's talking some sense.
Yeah, no, you can tell.
But,
you can see the whites.
No,
there,
he
right?
is.
They're flying.
Yeah, they both are. They've both been off it for about 2 years now.
Yeah.
So, you know, it was just that time.
Yeah.
They pulled their heads in. But like you said, mate, they're killing it in that space at the moment, and especially with what they're doing around the halves and the people that they've got on at the moment, they're going really well, and two lads that are super smart about their footy, so it just gives a different perspective on, you know, obviously half play, but footy from their point of view.
Yeah, once the Blues win, we might have to have a bit of a get-together and we'll get them back on the drink board.
Oh, right. Yeah, you do that,
Yeah,
Brian.
Just one
I
day
reckon
from him.
you'd be,
Just one day.
yeah.
Just one day.
Keep him away from him, boys.
Just one beer won't hurt, eh? The old
yeah,
saying, one
yeah.
beer is in street, boy.
See you
dangerous
Tuesday.
words,
See you
dangerous
Tuesday.
words.
Yeah,
Hey, Boyd
next
Cordner,
minute,
mate, all
3
the best
days
with the
later.
Blues. Yeah, all the best with the Roosters as well. It's a massive game. You've had a couple of close losses. South Sydney, that hurt. The Bulldogs lost hurt. If you win those, you're equal to the Melbourne Storm. So you're right there. Take you on the Sharks at Industry Group Stadium in Gosford. For those who want to go, Ticketek is the way to do that for that big game at Gosford. Roosters take on the Sharks, but there's a big game in front of Boyd Cordner. That is the Blues take on the Maroons. Good on you, Boydo. Thanks for coming on, mate.
See you, lads.
See you,
Take
brother.
care. See you, boys.
There he is. Geez, he's achieved a lot in this game, hasn't he, Brian?
Oh, mate. I remember, so he came down as a 16-year-old.
Tari boy?
Tari,
Yep.
Old Bar, and
Yep.
Freddie put him in. He played like ball,
Mm.
and then Freddie put him in a first-grade trial and just grabbed him and said, you're going to be playing in this
Wow.
trial, and never looked back. Now it's time for this, ladies and gentlemen. Tourist hit me. Wacky team. Fullback. Making your way in your world today takes everything. Fullback, Trivia Newton-John. Your wingers is going to be Fidel Bistro and Penny Wong Island Iced Tea. That's from you, the cowboy.
Good
Canard
Cuban
cowboy.
sandwiches there.
Your centres, Jake Jukebox and Bernard Gin and Tonic. Your halves is Luke Beveridge and Skull, Karaoke.
Did Monica make it?
Pardon?
Monica.
Well, just hang on, just get there. Your front row is going to be a Nom from Cheers.
Yep.
Here's your front row. Jenna Jamison.
Oh.
Yeah, she's playing 9, purely a 9 this week.
Really?
No way she's playing 6 at all. She's purely 9. Your other front row is that Newcastle legend, Barry Toohey.
Oh, yes.
Now, your back rowers, they are related, Peter Sellers and Monica Sellers.
Oh.
And your lock forward, Mo Sislak.
Oh, really?
But the winner today, which I thought was very, very good, was Mike with Fidel Bistro.
Have we got a mascot?
A mascot?
Yeah, team mascot.
Oh, Bouncer.
Bouncer.
Yeah, sorry, from Neighbours.
Duffman.
And halftime entertainment by the Cause. Yes.
Oh, very
that's
good.
good.
How long have you been? And our horse trainer, 'cause
Yes.
we're going to buy a horse, is going to be who?
Mitch Beer.
Mitch Beer.
That's right.
There you go.
And you know what? We're going to buy a horse that was out of the former Melbourne Cup winner, Brew.
That's right. And if we decide to go to the Easter show and do some wood chopping, who are we going to get?
Oh,
David
Foster.
David. You're still here? We'll see more on the Joel and Fletch socials and catch us live on SEN Radio. Because if you don't, you're an A grade. But if you do, you're the absolute Mickey.